These paid Lego kits in the item shop can be kind of expensive. So today we're going to be deciding if the Beachside Boulevard bundle and or just kind of like both of these separately are worth it or not. So obviously one of the biggest things about this bundle are the prefab buildings. So here we have all of the 7 here, and we're going to actually just go through and just build all of them real quick. So as small as this build is, it low-key was pretty enjoyable just because, you know, the materials in this are literally just wood, and it wasn't hard to reach anything. And boom, here we go. So this is the Shore Shack, and this is actually obviously the smallest one out of the bundle, and it is literally just kind of like a shed almost that you really don't have a lot of room in. I mean, like, for it being a prefab, it does, you know, come very nice and neat, but we do only get this granite kind of block. Like some of the other prefabs, kind of like the Durrr Burger one, it actually comes with a very unique, like, whatever this part is called, like the grounded part, the base. There we go. And yeah, this thing doesn't really have anything too spectacular on it other than the double door. Like, I actually really like that we have the double door closing, and I think that's really cool for it being a shed. Like, I don't really know too many sheds that have the double doors, so I mean, I guess you could do something really cool with this prefab if you really wanted to. But yeah, here's just kind of the tiniest one. It's, you know, it looks a lot better on the beach than it would probably anywhere else. And the second one, we have this Hideaway. And so while building the Hideaway, it is more unique than the shed just because it does have these stilts to go off the ground. And it actually allows us to have some really cool, like, access views on the top. But the building itself was not bad because, you know, we're literally just using a lot of wood, and the build is actually very small in size, so a pretty enjoyable build. And boom, the Hideaway is now complete. And one of the biggest things that I will honestly say that I actually really hate about all of these beach buildings is the fact that we do have this like granite base, because if you wanted to put it in the water, like that's what these stilts are actually for, is to kind of give it that effect. If you either wanted to put it in the sand or even put it in the water, the granite just ruins it immediately. But you can actually go through, and once you have it all done, you can go through and break it up, and you can extend the bottom of the legs into here if you wanted to. So it's a simple fix, but it is kind of an annoying one, especially for it being a prefab building. But other than that, it doesn't look bad at all. Like, I actually really think this is very cool. It even has this asymmetrical kind of walk up. And here you go, you have the door that actually opens up towards the front. And I kind of wish that it opened on the inside, because once you open it to the front, if you're standing right here, it kind of just boops you back and you have to like make this maneuver. But on the inside, you have a decent amount of room. You have this nice wall. There's actually a wall. There's no windows here in the back, so you can actually put a bed or some chests stacked up to actually give it some room. The inside actually looks super nice too with the nice blue roof. We even have a couple of windows in here. We have about 5 in here. So you have these 2 on this side, this 2 on this side, and then you have the one that actually goes up to the porch. And again, it's just a nice, sleek blue and white aesthetic here. And now for the Lifeguard Tower. So starting out building the Lifeguard Tower, it was not bad. Like, I actually really enjoyed it at first just because I thought it was gonna be really cool. But it has this really weird shape to it that you'll kind of see in a second once we get done with it. And you know, the build itself is not my favorite, but I think the parts that are used in here are pretty good. And boom, the Lifeguard Tower is complete. And obviously this is supposed to be a Lifeguard Tower, and it fits that nice blue aesthetic here. And as you might notice, everything in this bundle is blue. I mean, even if we go ahead and take a look at all the buildings now, they are all that blue and white color. And that can be a mega turnoff for some people because, you know, that might not be the best color scheme in the world. And you go crazy. But up here at the top, you can actually see the roof has a lot of little holes, and instead of it kind of covering and giving us some angles that actually would cover every single aspect, there are some holes in there. I'm not exactly sure if the rain could still get through that. I doubt it, just because, you know, the way that the game engine runs. But up here, we have every single side of it having windows to be able to look out and just be able to kind of sit outside. And this doesn't really look like the traditional life tower that you're probably thinking in your brain. And I would agree. Honestly, I don't like this. It is too bulky. It just looks kind of off almost. But again, we do have the really cool stilts, and I do think that is the best part of this bundle, are these bottom stilts. And now for the Beach Pavilion. This one actually is pretty cool, so let's go ahead and get started. I truly think that the Beach Pavilion is one of my favorite ones out of this entire bundle, just because the practicality of it looks super nice. It uses a whole lot of these little arches, a lot of pillars. It looks geometrically pretty good. The build itself is also super easy. It's literally just a whole bunch of wood, and in this case, the top of the roofs are actually super easy to get to as well. It's not like you have to like build some stairs up to get to them. Literally just go to the side, and it's super, honestly, super enjoyable build. Like, literally 10 out of 10. Boom, the Beach Pavilion is done. And this does not look bad in my opinion. I actually really like this. This could be very useful for if you are just starting out and you kind of just want a spot to like put all your little utility items right here. This fits them perfectly up here. Like, honestly, it is a great place to have a lot of decorations, a lot of chests. It just looks like a nice little centerpiece for like some sort of beach town you might be making. And again, we have these awesome stilts and these pearly white gates going up to the top. Not gates, they're stairs. Call me stupid in the comment, please. And now for something a little bit more interesting, you have a shop that you can actually make. And this one is starting to get a little bit bigger when it comes to the base materials. I mean, this thing is huge. When building the swimming shop, it was a little bit harder to get some of the pieces on here. Like the bottom of the floor, not a big deal at all. The middle floor, not a big deal at all. But when you actually got to the roof, it started to get a little bit tricky just because you had to kind of like go back and forth between the build. It wasn't like a solid, you start on one side and you work your way through the other. It's literally you start on one side, go to the other side, start on the other side, keep going back and forth. It's really annoying. I don't know, this one was not that enjoyable to me. And boom, the Swimmin Shop is done. But taking a look at this, this could honestly be turned into a house. I mean, it obviously has that shop in the name, but it does feature a really cool upstairs area. And what's really interesting too is we have the bottom as well. There's not really a door from the other side, so this is one of those ones where you might want to just like knock out this wall right here and place another door, because this one could be a little annoying to kind of get to, especially if there's just one area to get into. I think that they should have added another door in this prefab, but the building itself is not bad at all. Like, this could very, very easily be turned into a really cool house, especially if you added on to it. We have even these really nice windows up here in the front that we actually haven't seen on any of the builds yet, so that's super particularly awesome. I will say, looking at the details on the wall, it is a little harder to blend this in with some of the other like builds, especially since it's not solid wood. It has all these little checker patterns and stuff. So that's definitely something to consider in here. And same thing goes for the inside of the wall as well. It's just this checkered pattern, and just it's all right. And now for the little beach house. But building our little beach house, honestly, wasn't bad at all. Like, at first, I thought it was going to be kind of the same thing as a swimming shop, kind of going back and forth and back and forth, but this one did a little bit better of a job of actually going and just kind of continuously building in the same area. That doesn't seem like a big deal, but it really is when you're playing this game. You know what I'm talking about. But this one was not that hard. There are a few tricky places in here, especially the roof, because it's so high off the ground to get to that you're going to probably need a couple of stairs, like an extra pair of stairs on the build to actually get to it. And it was still an enjoyable build, though, for sure. And our little beach house is complete. Oh, hello, little Fortnite llama. When did you get here, bro? Sweet. Well, anyways, just speaking of this, first thing I want to mention is this little extended part up top. That is one of the coolest parts of this entire thing. And honestly, I think this is probably the best one out of the bundle, especially just for the fact that it looks nice. It has these nice little stilts on the bottom. And I'm not exactly sure why they put that on every single build here, but you know, it looks nice on some of them. This one actually is a 3-story house, and that's included the bottom part. So this is 1 story. And then we have the second one, which is actually pretty roomy inside. It even has a little balcony to go stand outside and a second entrance to get inside of the 2nd story. And then a little area that you can honestly put whatever here, just preferably not a bathroom since there's a window. But going up to the top of the house, through this staircase outside, it just features this nice little extended roof like area up here, and you have another little private area right here if you want to knock some of these walls out and maybe put a bathroom in here, go crazy. But this is definitely the best part of the entire house. This one just, it's not too big and it looks very nice. But finally, for the biggest one, the beach house. And this one, just going up in the air, look how much room this takes up compared to all of the other ones. Like, this is crazy. I just gotta be straight honest with you, from the get-go, the Mega Beach Mansion, as I'm gonna call it, absolutely terrible. Like, the design on this is horrible. The build itself was not fun at all because the tower is so big and you have to like literally get on top of the roof to actually put the roof on it. Like some of the other ones, you can literally just kind of like go on the side and click it. But this one, you literally have to get on top of it to do anything. Super unenjoyable build, super ugly build in my opinion. It's the worst one out of the bunch, and this should not be the case for a huge build like this. Oh my goodness, it is finally done. This thing is too big in my opinion. Like genuinely, this thing is stupid big. And we're just gonna cheat a little bit. We're actually gonna fly around and take a look at this house. First off, I don't like this tower. I think it absolutely looks so ugly. It literally looks like a blue lighthouse that you just stuck on a house. Like, I don't get the design. I think it looks horrible. I mean, I think it's cool. It's literally like a Lifeguard Tower if you want to implement that in your house for some reason. But right here, we just go ahead and actually drop to the bottom. This one actually does feature a legit first story house, like with all this stuff right here. On the bottom, we have a lot of really cool just details, a lot of really cool space in the bottom. And then going up to the top, you can actually start to see a little bit more going on. So here is the door that actually opens up towards us again. A lot more space right here. And here's the Lifeguard Tower, which I absolutely despise. And you know what? There's literally no room anywhere other than here. It's literally just right here, and it looks so bad. I'm sorry, it just looks so bad to me. But now on to what I think makes the bundle slightly worth it. The decorations. Let's actually go over all of these. So let's start off on this corner over here. The first things I want to look at are the rugs. I think these rugs are spectacular. Obviously, we have a wave right here. This could either be some sort of like aesthetically pleasing wave or even some type of shelf. And here we actually have a little shelf. Another shelf that you can actually open. It has a few things of storage. This one we can also open. It is the same exact amount of storage as this. Right here we have just a slightly smaller or slightly larger amount of storage. And then finally we have this nice little like corner countertop. Here we even have a sink, which honestly is designed very nicely. I can't even lie. And we even have some of the best things in the entire bundle, the floaties. Here's a duck floaty, and here is the Fortnite Loot Llama floaty. That is fantastic. And right here on the walls, you can see this little surfboard, a green surfboard. Here we have a life preserver ring, which is actually the kind of nice magenta and white color. And here we have another one, which is actually a puffy version. That one's actually flat right there. This is puffy. And then those are like the only wall decorations we actually have in this instance. But going over on this side, we actually have a couple chairs. You can actually sit in all of these. And I think the favorite one out of all of these has got to be this little conch shell or clam or whatever this is. I like it a lot. Here we have two different versions of these like lounging chairs. And here are the small ones. Here are the medium ones. And these, obviously, you can both sit in. This nice little stripe. Here we have some more striped ones, and these are just kind of like the lounging ones. And this one doesn't really make sense to me. I'm not sure exactly why this green little chair is there, but it's there. We even have a standing shower. You see how cool that is? That is awesome. And right here we even have a little bench. I'm pretty sure that's what this actually is supposed to be. And it's actually made out of these little nice clam shells that we actually see right here. And in this case, I even believe this is like a pearl, which is very cool. And here we even have a fridge. And this one is very cool too because it actually has these Lego pieces on here to actually kind of give it some nice aesthetically pleasing colors. So instead of it just being a nice, you know, prison fridge, it has some like stickers and magnets on it. And I think that is fantastic. But right here we even have another standing surfboard. This one is the exact same one that's on the wall right there, except this one can actually stand up. And so same thing right here. These can all kind of like go on their own. But here we have a little bucket with some little flip-flops in them. And here we have a little duck, which honestly the duck is so cute on its own. A little life ring. And I just love all the little, these are not flip-flops. Honestly, I couldn't tell you what these are called, but these look really cool. And I love that these are actually the minifigure pieces. These actually go in legit minifigures IRL. And here we actually have some sandcastles, which are probably some of the biggest stars of the entire bundle. Because here we have kind of just the normal sandcastle, another little tiny one. But here we have, it looks to be like, I'm trying to remember what the space, it's a space theme. And it's literally, oh, that is so cool. Made out of sand in different textures and colors. It looks phenomenal. Here we even have a little popcorn stand right here, with some popcorn in there, and they're not even the same texture. Like, it looks so good. And right here, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be an ice cream cart. I couldn't tell you what this is supposed to be. But here we have a baked goods cart right here, and I just love that we get all of this really cool detail. And a giant surfboard you can actually stick anywhere you want. And we even have a little umbrella. And that is all the ones that we could fit up here, and because that is not all. Down here, we have a better look at the little sandcastles actually in the sand, and it doesn't really match the color of the sand, which is honestly okay because I think it gives it that nice bobbing color. Here we have a big sandcastle, and obviously, this one has a lot more detail than the other little tiny one. I mean, it has a moat right here. We have a nice little tower in the back, two tiny towers on the back. It looks so cool. I'm surprised there's not like a mini sand minifigure in there. That'd be so cool. Here we even have one of my favorite things, the hot dog stand. Like, look at that. We even have some glizzles right here sitting in there just waiting to be put inside of your buns. Yeah. And then we have the best sandcastle out of all of them, which I guess it's not even a sandcastle. It's a sand ship. Look how cool and detailed that is. That is fantastic. We have a volleyball net, another little like fruit stand over here, another surfboard, and this one is actually a different color than the yellow one right there. I think I like this one a little bit better. And then finally, we have these little like, I don't know if these are supposed to be bathrooms or whatever, but you can't actually open the door. I feel like that was slightly a wasted opportunity because these look really cool. Like, these look really good, but the door doesn't open. And so before we actually talk about if these are worth it or not, I want to just point this out. These definitely look all right in other biomes. Like, here is a grassland biome, and they definitely look all right. But these were obviously meant to be put on the beach, especially with those beachy colors and stuff. It looks better right here, in my opinion, than it does up there. I know that it sucks that we have to pay for some of these things, and that is one of the biggest complaints that I've seen in the comment sections of some of these other videos, is that we're essentially getting, you know, they're making us pay for stuff like this. But then you got to realize that, you know, we're getting tons of other updates and stuff. So I don't want y'all to be off-put by this, because this is completely optional. And I know it, you know, if there's something in here that you like and you don't want to, you know, pay for it, that is totally valid. I 100% get it. But let's talk about if these are actually worth it or not. The first thing we got to talk about are these prefab buildings. And I think there's a couple that are really good. Like, I think the Pavilion's really good. I think the medium-sized house is very good. I think the shed is all right. This is all right. This is disgusting. This is definitely all right. And this is absolutely, in my opinion, the worst one out of the wave. And it is the biggest building. Like, that should not be the case. I think that in this, we get a lot of really cool building materials. Like, we get these nice little support beams. And there are support beams in the other colors as well, but we don't get them in white unless you get this bundle. And I think that is a nice color to have, especially for a beach environment. But I think my biggest complaint has to be that the only color that we get in this entire bundle is this blue beach house color. I hate that. Why didn't we get this light blue? Or this magenta? Or this orange, yellow color? Why was it only this color? That is one of the problems I have with this bundle, like this pack. It looks so bad. Like, if you put these all together, it looked like you were in a cult area because they all look the exact same. And I mean, like, that can be really cool, but a beach, if you've ever been to a beach, they have the most colorful, fun houses ever. And they're not all this blue color. I mean, yeah, there's some that are this blue color, but they're not all like that, okay? They all are different colors, and they look so good when they're beside each other. So look, I gotta be straight up honest with you. This is a little disappointing that we didn't get multiple colors for these. Like, you know, it wouldn't have been that hard because, you know, it would have, like, tripled or quadrupled the number of prefabs that we got. But you also could have just put in, like, a little select tool when you went to click it, what color you wanted it to be. Like, I think that would have been a really cool implication or implementation. There we go. So now let's talk about these decorations and see if these are actually worth it or not. Because, honestly, I think these are the best decorations we have seen in any bundle slash decoration in general for LEGO Fortnite so far, as, you know, of course, the recording of this video. I mean, they're so unique and they look so good. I mean, of course, there's a couple of them that only, you know, fit the beach vibe, like the sand castles. You can't really be putting that on grass. It would just look kind of funky. But a lot of them are amazing. Like, genuinely, I have no complaints about the decorations. Like, I seriously, I think they're the best thing in here. But what really sucks about this is that they know what they're doing. They added these amazing decorations to the bundles on purpose. They didn't just give us a straight up decoration bundle and a prefab bundle. They just gave us a mix of both, which I think was a little scummy in this case because that's kind of stupid. That's the one thing that's gonna make me say that some of this is not gonna be worth it. Like, genuinely, as much as I love the decorations and as much as I kind of dislike the prefabs, it kind of is crappy that they're doing this. I think that they should have made these separate, honestly, because that would have made the decision a little bit easier. Because I do think that the decorations are 100% definitely worth it. Like, if you could just get all those in one, perfect. If not, you know, maybe don't go for those. And in this case, you either get all of them in one big bundle, or you kind of get them separately. And I don't think that the price is actually astronomical on this. We get a ton of buildings. We get 7 prefab buildings and a ton of decorations for $1,900. Like, that's not a bad price in my opinion. But I do think that if you were gonna, you know, if you play a lot of LEGO Fortnite, I think that getting the prefabs for the decorations might be worth it. But if you don't play a lot, I honestly can say that this is not worth it at all. So anyways, we're gonna wrap up this video right here. Seriously, thank y'all so much for watching, studs, and I really hope that this helped sway your opinion on these. So anyways, make sure you use code CJ Brickles in the item shop, and I will see y'all later.